Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we sift through the noise to bring you the core insights you need to get informed quickly and thoroughly. Forget endless scrolling. We do the digging for you.
Yeah, and this time we're taking a bit of a different tack, a fascinating detour, really. Instead of looking at, you know, big data trends,
Right.
we're zooming right in, something really personal.
Yeah.
One individual's weekly review.
Like a case study.
Exactly. Think of it as getting a peek behind the curtain, seeing how someone actually tries to, well, improve different parts of their life day to day.
Exactly. We've got this really detailed This Week in Review post. It covers April 21st to April 27th, 2025, and it's just packed with real numbers observations across everything, really. Sleep,
Use
steps.
coding, gardening.
Yeah, even the stuff that didn't quite get done, those stalled projects, we can all probably relate to.
Mm-hmm. And our goal here, our mission, let's say, is to pull out the key learnings from this very specific personal experience, see what resonates more broadly.
Like what patterns pop up.
Yeah, what surprising things emerge, and what actionable takeaways can you, our listener, maybe apply to your own efforts, whatever you're focused on.
It's about understanding how that consistent effort, even tiny bits of it, actually plays out in the real world.
Right. Small doses adding up.
Okay, let's unhack this then, starting with, I guess, the foundation, health.
Good place to start.
So this review looks at sleep, activity, diet, even some quick workouts. Sleep first, average duration, 7.43 hours. Sounds pretty good, right?
It does, on paper. But the interesting bit is the inconsistency. Big swings.
How big?
Well, from just 6 hours one night to a full 9 another. That kind of variation night after night.
Yeah.
It can actually, cancel out some of the benefits of getting enough sleep overall.
Ah, right. So even with a decent average, you might still feel kind of groggy or find it harder to focus.
Exactly. It's not just the total hours. It's the consistency
Mhm.
or lack thereof.
And get this 3 nights involved split sleep. Yeah, so not one solid block of sleep. Which, again, makes you question how restorative that sleep really is, even if the hours look okay on average.
Definitely. Does it say why the sleep was split? Like waking up in the middle of the night?
No, the review doesn't specify the reasons, which kind of highlights something important, actually. If you are tracking your sleep, noting down why things happen, potential causes, that gives you deeper insights, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Context is key. And it also mentioned limited dream recall,
Right.
which also hints that maybe even when you're in bed for a good amount of time, the quality of those sleep cycles might be off somehow.
Interesting. Okay, so moving to activity, steps. Total for the week was over 43,000.
Okay.
Average around 6,171 per day.
So fairly consistent movement overall.
Yeah, seems like it. There was a peak, almost 7,900 steps one day,
Nice.
and a low of just under 4,000 on another day, but mostly hovering in a certain range.
What range was that?
Mostly between 5,500 and 7,900 steps.
Right. So that relatively narrow range suggests maybe a sustainable level of activity, something just baked into daily life.
Seems like it. The author mentions it's a slight adjustment to daily lifestyle, not like specific intense workouts necessarily.
And that's a key takeaway, I think. You don't always need these huge dedicated gym sessions to maintain a decent baseline of movement. Small, consistent changes can really add up over time.
Totally. Okay, now let's dive into diet and weight. This is interesting. The review notes a shift to earlier dinners, part of an intermittent fasting routine.
Okay, so pushing the eating window earlier.
Right. But despite that, the weight actually went up slightly over the week,
Oh, from what to what?
from 67.70 kilograms at the start to 68.35 at the end. A bit unexpected, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Especially if the fasting timing was consistent. Were there big fluctuations during the week?
Yeah, that's notable too. It peaked at 69 kilos twice early in the week.
Wow, okay, so almost 1.5 kilo fluctuation range there.
Exactly. And the author connects this directly to, well, what they were eating.
The food itself.
Yeah.
Not just the timing.
Right. The fasting schedule stayed the same, but the proportions of the food shifted.
How so?
Well, the goal was apparently a 2.1.1 ratio, plants to protein to carbs.
Okay, mostly plants.
Yeah. But what actually happened was more like 1.2.2.
Oh, so way more carbs and protein relative to plants and more snacking involved.
Bingo. And that seems to be the culprit for the weight gain. A pretty clear illustration, really.
Yeah, it shows how even with consistent meal timing, the actual composition of those meals can have a significant impact on weight.
Definitely. What kind of carbs do you reckon would have that sort of immediate effect?
Well, the review doesn't specify, of course.
Yeah.
But You'd guess maybe more refined carbs, processed stuff, things that digest quickly.
Right, leading to blood sugar spikes, maybe?
Could be. And subsequent fat storage. It's interesting that the author expects the weight to return to normal once they resume regular meals and up the fiber again.
Yeah, it underscores the importance of both that macronutrient balance and the type of carbs you're eating. Whole versus refined.
Absolutely.
And then just rounding out health workouts, described as light activities.
Like what?
Things like occasional light walks after meals, socializing, gardening, house chores, plus these very brief, like 6 or 7 minute workouts.
Okay, so not heavy gym sessions, more like incorporating movement throughout the day.
Exactly. It feels like a focus on just moving rather than dedicated, intense exercise blocks.
Which is a valid approach. It highlights a different way to think about fitness, prioritizing consistent, maybe lower intensity activity, supplemented by really short bursts of something more focused.
Yeah, that might feel more accessible or sustainable for a lot of people compared to trying to squeeze in, long, intense workouts.
Definitely. Okay, so shall we shift focus to the mind and skill section?
Yeah, let's do it. Meditation was a key area this week, it seems.
How so?
Well, a combination of things. Sitting meditation, regular 10 breath sessions.
Hmm.
And it mentions focusing on a 3-step progression.
Okay. What does it usually mean, a 3-step progression in breath work?
Often it's about a structured approach, right? Maybe starting with just noticing the breath,
Hmm.
then maybe deepening or lengthening it, and finally observing the sensations, perhaps. Something like that.
Got it. A focused practice.
And then there was also walking meditation, short bursts, just 1 to 5 minutes, often kind of integrated with other things like walks after meals or during chores.
That's great. It shows how mindfulness doesn't have to be this hour-long commitment. You can weave it into brief moments in your day.
Right. And then mental noting, consistent practice of just noticing thoughts, emotions, feelings as they come up.
Actively observing the mind.
Yeah. And the author even called it a stoic week and wondered if this practice might have actually contributed to sleeping better.
Oh, that's an interesting connection. How might that work theoretically?
Well, I guess the idea is if you actively acknowledge and sort of label thoughts and emotions during the day.
You create some distance.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe it reduces rumination, that mental chatter at night, leading to a calmer mind for sleep.
It makes sense, like training your brain not to get swept away by every single thought that pops up. Less mental clutter at bedtime.
Could be. Okay, moving into more practical skills. Cooking was a focus.
What were the goals there?
Seemed pretty specific, actually. Quick vegetable prep, like making vegetable and egg soups.
Nice and simple.
Yeah, and learning different ways to cook eggs. Specifically mentioned regular hard-boiled eggs, small, achievable goals.
Yeah, and that really emphasizes that progress doesn't have to be these giant leaps, does it?
Yeah.
What's the benefit of focusing on such, well, seemingly small cooking skills?
Well, I suppose by mastering simple things, you build confidence and maybe efficiency in the kitchen.
Right. Which makes it more likely you'll actually cook more often, maybe make healthier choices overall.
It's about building a foundation, I guess, not trying to become a gourmet chef overnight.
Exactly. And the decluttering efforts mentioned seem to follow a similar theme.
How so?
Small, consistent actions, like clearing one item at a time, especially the gardening workspaces. That one item at a time approach feels way less daunting, doesn't it?
It really does. It's
Yeah.
the total opposite of that overwhelming, like, I have to spring clean the entire house now feeling.
Mm-hmm. But it also acknowledged stalled progress.
Ah, the reality check.
Yeah. Paperwork, some curtains, a neglected drawer. Still waiting.
It's a realistic picture, though. Even when you're making progress elsewhere, some tasks just get stuck.
Why do you think some decluttering tasks are harder than others?
Right, that could be anything, really. Emotional attachment to the items, maybe? Or just the perceived effort involved seems too big.
Or you just don't know where to start.
Exactly. Lack of a clear system or starting point. Those lingering tasks often need a different strategy. Maybe breaking them down even smaller or setting a specific dedicated time just for that one thing. Makes sense. Okay, reading habits were also noted. An intended read, a guide on managing blood pressure, sugar, lipids.
Important stuff.
Yeah, but zero progress made on that this week.
Happens to the best of us.
There was daily time spent 5 to 10 minutes just browsing fiction, old magazines, books bought previously.
So not deep learning, maybe, but still engaging with reading in some way.
Yeah, it's like maintaining that connection with the written word, even if there isn't time for more focused study right now.
Right. Keeps the habit alive.
Then we get into coding contributions. This was interesting. Daily PR contributions.
Okay, pull requests.
Right. Things like documentation, CI, or test cases to various open source language projects Go, Python, Elixir, Erlang, Rust.
Wow, daily. That's commitment.
Yeah. For someone less familiar, maybe explain what a PR contribution typically involves in the coding world and what CI.
Sure. So a PR, a pull request, is basically how a coder suggests changes or additions to code that's shared among developers. It could be fixing a tiny bug, adding a small feature, improving documentation, stuff like that.
Okay.
And CI is continuous integration. It's an automated process that helps developers constantly test and merge their code changes to make sure everything still works together smoothly.
Got it. So these daily contributions, like fixing minor things on GitHub or updating the CI for, say, Elixir 1.1, as mentioned, they're actually valuable little improvements for these projects.
Absolutely. It's all about those consistent small improvements adding up in the open source world. It really highlights the power of micro contributions.
Yeah, definitely. And similarly, the recreation pet projects continued, evaluating vibe coding on a Golang project.
Vibe coding, what's that? Sounds groovy.
Ha! Yeah, I wasn't sure either. What do you think that means?
It's a more informal term. Often means just experimenting with a certain coding style, maybe exploring new ideas without super strict goals, or just enjoying the process of creating code, letting intuition guide you a bit more.
Okay, kind of exploratory coding?
Yeah, something like that. And also refactoring Python projects, just cleaning up and improving existing code.
Which is important for keeping projects healthy long term.
Right, maintenance.
Yeah.
And it noted occasional API usage limits, which is just a practical reality for developers sometimes, right?
Yep, those constraints are real.
And finally, in this mind skills bucket, writing. The goal was ambitious.
Yeah.
2 posts a day, plus reviewing old ones.
Wow, 2 a day.
Yeah. And there was an interesting observation about an AI chatbot.
Oh.
It seemed to be adopting a more conversational writing style with better flow.
Huh. What are the implications of seeing AI evolve like that for, personal writing?
Well, it suggests these AI tools are getting much better at mimicking human-like chat, right? Communication style. Yeah, more sophisticated.
Yeah.
Which could be useful, maybe, for brainstorming, drafting, even seeing where your own writing could be more natural.
True, but it also raises questions, I guess, about maintaining your own unique voice and style if you rely on them too much.
Definitely a balancing act.
Yeah.
And then there was the desire to write more on a long-pending Elixir topic.
But no progress this week. Another one of those things that gets pushed back.
Yeah, the longer-term goals sometimes get sidelined by the day-to-day stuff. It happens.
Okay, let's switch gears again. Hobbies and nature connection. Fish keeping first.
Right?
The Yellow-Blue Rack project, still on hold.
Ah, the recurring theme.
Yeah. And research into fission plants for outdoor plastic container ponds also didn't yield specific results yet. It does seem like some hobbies just need bigger chunks of dedicated time, maybe.
They often do, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if they involve physical setup or like a lot of research up front. It's a good reminder that it's okay for some hobbies to be on the back burner sometimes. You can't do everything all at once.
True. But the gardening activities, on the other hand, really seem to flourish this week.
Oh, yeah. What happened there?
Lots of attention on growing plants from unexpected seed germination, like seeds sprouted that weren't expected to.
Oh, cool. Serendipity in the garden.
Yeah. And apparently with a high success rate, which must have been pretty rewarding.
Definitely. What can we learn from unexpected successes like that, you think, in our own lives?
Maybe the importance of just being open to things, unexpected opportunities, and learning from them when they happen.
Yeah, seizing the moment. That high success rate probably provided some really valuable hands-on learning about what those specific plants needed. Fast feedback.
Right. And then there was also the start of setting up 4 new gardening workspaces, mostly on a backyard balcony.
Okay, expanding the operation.
Yeah. Involved decluttering existing plants, getting ready for painting, building racks. So a proactive step towards enabling more gardening in the future.
That's great. It's about creating the environment, the infrastructure for a hobby to thrive, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. And finally, under photography. Just a thought about buying a macro lens for a mobile phone.
Ah, gear acquisition syndrome, potentially.
Huh, maybe. But no decision made. Still just a consideration. But sometimes just thinking about a new avenue for a hobby kind of keeps alive.
Exactly. Keeps that spark of interest there, even if you don't act on it immediately.
So, okay, looking at this whole week, this whole review, what are some of the bigger patterns or connections that jump out at you?
Well, the author themselves pointed out that possible link between the mental noting practice and feeling more stoic.
Right, and maybe sleeping better because of it.
Yeah. And that connection between eating more carbs and the slight weight gain seems pretty direct, too.
For sure.
It really shows how different areas of our lives aren't really separate silos, are they? They're all interconnected. Sleep affects mood, affects food choices, affects energy levels.
It's all tangled up. And the commitment to those small, consistent actions across so many different areas, it's quite remarkable when you list it all out.
Right. It really is. It's not about these huge disruptive changes. It's those regular micro efforts adding up.
Yeah. We saw progress, like with the gardening, maybe fueled by that unexpected win with the seeds, but also those persistent projects that are just stuck for now. It feels very human, very relatable.
Totally. And ultimately, this kind of detailed self-tracking, it really highlights its value, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, you can't really understand the impact of your habits until you actually pay attention and record the data. Even if it's just for yourself, it gives you that personal insight.
Yeah, you get objective feedback instead of just relying on feelings. What's the biggest benefit you see for someone doing this kind of detailed weekly review?
I think it's the self-awareness it fosters.
Yeah.
That's hard to get otherwise. Looking back at the data, your own observations, you can spot patterns, understand the consequences of your choices, good and bad.
And then make more informed decisions next week or next month.
Exactly. It's like running little experiments on your own life. What works, what doesn't for you.
Okay. So, if we were to kind of boil it down, the key takeaways seem to be the huge impact of consistency, even in really small actions.
Definitely number one.
The direct link between, say, diet composition and physical changes like weight.
Yep. Cause and effect.
And the powerful insights you get from tracking and reflecting on your own habits.
Precisely. And that brings us to a final thought.
Yeah.
For you, our listener.
Yeah.
What small, consistent actions could you maybe start tracking in your own life to gain some of those insights, drive progress towards whatever your goals are?
Could be anything, right?
Anything. Amount of water you drank, time spent learning a skill, maybe even just noting down one small step you took each day towards a bigger project.
Yeah. Just consider maybe one or two areas you'd like to understand a bit better through that kind of self-awareness.
Exactly. Give it a try.
Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive into just 1 week of one person's efforts. We hope it's given you some valuable perspectives, maybe some ideas.
Yeah, hope it was useful.
We'd love to hear what other areas of life, or maybe what other kinds of sources you'd be interested in us exploring in future deep dives. Let us know.